Hi everyone, I'm sorry it's been a while. I was planning to make this video earlier, but my computer broke, so I've finally got it back, and that's why it's took me so long to make a video. The video is all my reads from 2013, and I've put them in order of how many stars I gave them on Goodreads. And I'm going to talk about novels separately to manga, because all this manga got rated 5 stars instantly, because it was all by Iwatase, and her artwork instantly gets 5 stars from me. I love her, she's my favourite artist, and so I'm kind of a bit biased, so I don't really want to put it in ranking with the rest of the books, because I've had an open mind, well, a bit more of an open mind for the rest of those, so I'll admit instant 5 stars if it's by Iwatase. The first series that I'm going to show you, I read 4 books from. I read 8 to 11, and this is called Arata the Legend. It's her only shonen series, which means aimed at boys. It's about 2 boys who share the same name, Arata, and they swap lives and swap worlds, and it mainly follows the boy from our world who ends up going to another world to save a princess who is being killed by her own council. And he's got to gain the trust of other warriors and things and get them to help him. I'm not going to spoil the story too much, but it's really good. I love it, of course. A bit biased, and it's quite a tame on the love element. That's mainly the only reason why it's a shonen. I would say it's pretty much like her other stories in any other way, apart from the love elements are not as strong, they're not as prominent. But yes, it's a good read, Arata. The second series that I read from, I read only one of the Ceres books, which is number 6, and this is her horror series. Well, I say horror, it's not really that scary, but apparently it's a horror series. And it's about twins called Aya and Aki who have the souls of previous members of their family who were husband and wife. And not only were the husband and wife, Aya, who is also Ceres, was a celestial maiden, and she basically wants to go back to heaven, but she was trapped on Earth by the man who Aki has the soul of, and the previous members of their families are taking over their bodies basically and making the twins hate each other. So that's that story. And the final one was Fushigi Yugi Genbu Kaiden, and I read 7, 8 and 9. And this is the prequel to her big series Fushigi Yugi, which of course is my favourite story of all time. Read it. This is about the first ever priestess, the priestess of Genbu, Takiko. And it's basically about how she found her warriors and summoned her beast god. I don't want to ruin it too much again, like I say, but she comes from our world into their world. This seems to be a theme with Iwatase. And she has to find 7 warriors in order to summon Genbu and save the kingdom. So that's all the manga that I read. I didn't read a lot because I've kind of been buying a lot more novels recently. I'm only buying manga when I find books that I need in series that I've started. I'm not starting any more series. So I'll start with the 2 stars, because I didn't actually read any 1-star books this year. It's been a good year for reading. I've pretty much averaged out on 4 stars. I've got the most books in my 4 stars pile. So the 2 books that I read that had only 2 stars were Poison Heart by S.G. Hayes. Did I say G? I meant B. But this book, it made out as if it was going to be quite a creepy paranormal thriller type, and it was just rubbish. It was. I gave it 2 stars because at first I was quite intrigued and quite interested, and then the ending was diabolical. It's about a girl called Katie, and her life is basically perfect until this girl Genevieve comes along and tries to take her life from her, take over her life. and it's just meh. yeah, I gave it 2 stars because I say it started well. It narrowly missed out on the 1-star margin. That's probably the worst book I read all year. The other 2-star book that I have is Passion by Lauren Kate, which, if you've seen my video about the Fallen series, you know I've spoke way too much about how much I hate these books anyway. And the only reason this one got 2 stars is because I liked all the different time eras and the showing of her previous lives. So yeah, and I think we all know about Luce and Daniel too much. So the 3 stars, which means they weren't bad, they were good, I got through them, but they weren't exactly, like, I wasn't desperate to read them, I wasn't like, I need to know what happens. The first one I've got here is Goddess Interrupted by Amy Carter, which is the 2nd book in this series. The first one's The Goddess Test, and it's not as good as the first one, which is why it only got 3. But it's basically about a girl called Amy, and she is going to become like the new queen of the Underworld, and Henry is Hades, and it's basically about the gods getting involved in a war, but there's a horrible love element in this that I can't stand, which I think is why it got 3 instead of 4 like the first one. So that's that book. The second book is Amy and Roger's Epic Detour by Morgan Matson. It was a cute read. It wasn't bad. I wasn't that keen on Roger, to be honest. The fact that he was obsessed with his ex-girlfriend and then 1 second later liked Amy. But it was cute, and I liked all the like detailing. I liked can't find a page with it on now. I liked the fact that it had like all the little bits and pieces from their journey in like just bits that help tell the story. But yeah, and I think also because I read this after the book that is like my book of the year, and it was just a huge disappointment compared to that. I think I'd ruined this book by reading something so amazing beforehand. The next 3-star novel is Rapture by Lauren Kate, which is the final book in this series, and someone did tell me, wait till you get to the last book, that's the best one. Yes, I'll agree with you, it's the best one. But it's only 3 stars. It's not this amazing series that people make it out to be. That I can't believe that this has even got a movie deal. I can't believe this is being made into a movie before Wicked Lovely. I can't believe this is going to be on the Twilight lines. People are going to be that obsessed. Right, yeah, I need to stop before I have a massive rant, but we all know how I feel about that. The next book is Carrie of the Mark by Lee Fallon, which, again, this wasn't quite what I was expecting it to be. It was a good read, like it was an easy read. I got through it quite easily, but it just wasn't quite what I thought it was going to be. And I don't really, like, it's not really like, oh my god, I have to read the next book. It's, oh, I'll get round to it eventually. It was alright. So it's worth 3 stars. This is about, is it Megan? Yeah, Megan. And she moves to Ireland, and she has a scar from a car accident, which keeps like burning up, and weird things keep happening around her, and she meets this guy Adam, and it turns out that they're like part of this group with these marks. It's not just a scar from a car accident, and the marks mean that they have elemental powers. I'm not going to read too much. And then the last book that I gave 3 stars to is Wolfsbane by Andrea Cremer. The first book in this series, Nightshade, is yet to come. Wolfsbane was a disappointment compared to the first one. I absolutely adored the first one. Wolfsbane was okay, but it just got a bit, I want to say far-fetched, but then I think I'm reading about werewolves. But for the plot, for what I was expecting this series to turn out to be, it got a bit far-fetched. And this is about Keller, who is an alpha female in a pack of wolves, and she's about to gain her own pack until she meets Shay, which, to be honest, that's more the first book. This book, she basically fraternises with the enemy. The whole book. The end. Now to my 4 stars, which is the biggest pile. I have more 4-star books than I need. The first one is Halo by Alexandra Adonetto. I liked this. I liked Beth. She's called Beth? I'm sure she is. Yeah. I really liked Beth. She was a nice, relatable character, and I loved the fact that she was so excited to be in a human body, and it was really interesting to read someone experiencing like their senses and things for the first time. I liked that. Her brother and sister, which were Ivy and Gabe, were quite like interesting because they were so like cold and distant. I liked that. This is about Beth. She's an angel who's been put into a human body to basically save the human race from like sin, I guess. Like there's something going on. They don't know exactly what they're saving them from yet, but so far they've just got to be good people. And this is the first book in the series. I haven't read any others, so it's Halo. The second book that got 4 stars is Underworld by Meg Cabot, which has a very similar plot to The Goddess Test and Goddess Interrupted. This is the second book also. The first book is Abandon, which again is about a girl who ends up marrying Hades. Her name is Pierce in this series. And I like this one a lot better. Meg Cabot tells the story so much better than Amy Carter does. Amy Carter seems to be a bit too hooked on this crazy love element, whereas I feel like Pierce has got a bit more personality and she's a lot more of a strong character, and I think that's why I prefer this series. Also, of course, Meg Cabot is like a lot more of a established writer, so it's probably well written. Like the writing is better than Amy Carter's as well, and that's probably why though, because she's like so established. So that was that one. I've ended up dropping one, so I'll pick that up next, which is Mercy by Rebecca Lim. I liked this. It wasn't the full 5 stars because it was a bit confusing at times, but the ending just kicked ass. Actually, I'm going to actually use that phrase, kicked ass. I like Mercy as a character again. She was a good character. She was very confused. This is also about an angel who gets put into a human body. Is she an angel? She's definitely some sort of like Holy Spirit. Yeah, she's an angel. Yeah. And she gets put into a human body, but it's of someone who's already alive, and she switches bodies a lot. She literally has to go in to this body, save the day, and then move on to the next body and save another day somewhere else. And I like Mercy. I think she's a good character. I think the world that they put her into, she has to go into a singing competition, I think it is with schools, and she ends up being like the star singer, but obviously she doesn't know that until they're like asking her to sing. And she basically is trying to find out where these singing girls are going missing, because someone or something is taking them away, like star singers, and because she's been put in the body of the star singer, she obviously gets caught up in all that stuff. So it's Mercy. I also started the Blood Magic series by Tessa Gratton. This is the first one, 4 stars again. It was quite weird to read about like all the blood sacrificing and the magic with it all. It was quite cringe-worthy at times, like reading someone slashing themselves open. I'm not gonna lie, I'm quite squeamish. But yeah, Scylla and Nick are the main characters in this story, and they basically get tangled in the magic, and the Nick, his mother was into it all, and so he kind of knows about it, whereas Scylla just discovered it and is being quite naive about it. So yeah, it was quite an interesting read, literally just for the fact that this magic was so intense, I'm going to go with, for the characters, and the fact that Nick had to go back to everything he'd been avoiding to help out Scylla, because obviously they're a love interest with each other. I read In Joe by Carrie Jones, which has got to be the last book in the Need series. If there's another one, I don't know what they're going to write about. This was about the war. Again, there's a big war coming. About the Pixies and about Zara's choice between Nick and Ashley. That bit, I'm not quite sure what I think. I really like Nick. Ashley's an alright character. Yes, he's a pixie, so he's like got more power over her, but I really liked Nick, and I don't know, that's the one thing, I think that's the thing keeping this from being a 5-starer, was my disappointment in the whole Nick side of the love elements. So this series is a really good series. It's one of my favourites, but there is a bit of a disappointment there. I'm really focusing on the negative. The next book is After Obsession, which is by Carrie Jones again, but Stephen E. Weedle. And this is based in the same town and the same like modern day world as the Need series, but it's about different characters, Amy and Alan. Alan, I think, is my male character of the year, which is another reason why this got 4 stars, because I was in love with Alan. Anytime you make your main love interest a metalhead, I'm going to be happy. Please do that more often. He was quite a strong character. He was Native American, and so he's moved to this school where Amy is, and it's basically about her friend and his cousin Courtney, who is being taken over and possessed by a demon, basically, and it's about possession. I thought this was going to be about the pixie stuff again, but actually no, it's about possession, and it creeped me out at times. I did get a little bit creeped out by the whole possession thing in this book. I've started so many series this year. A Witch in Winter by Ruth Warburton, which is the first in the series again. I liked this book. This is about a girl called Anna, and she is a witch, but she doesn't know it, and she ends up finding a witch's spell book in her house that she moves into with her dad, and she casts a spell on a boy called Seth, and from that everything escalates, and there's this huge witch like war, I guess word war's coming back, and it's between witches who want to live like in modern day society with the humans, and witches who think they're superior. And so her causing this spell because she's so powerful ends up with both sides kind of wanting her. And this is actually the last book that I read this year, but it's also the last book that got 4 stars this year. And it's Paranormal See by Kirsten White. I finally started reading this series after hearing so much about it. I can understand why people did go on about it. It was good. I liked it. I liked Evie. I thought she was a cool character. She stood up for herself. And I liked Lend. How could I forget his name? Lend. I really liked Lend. Ref, not too sure on. I don't like the fact... I'm the same as Evie. I don't like the fact that he's full of mystery and that everything he says is basically in code. But I really liked Lend. He is a really adorable male lead. Yes, we like Lend. Paranormal See. It's about Evie. She works for an agency that captures paranormals and takes them out of the human world so that they're not like interfering and doing things that they shouldn't be doing. And then she finds out like the secrets that the agency have been keeping from her, and that there's also something out to get all the paranormals, and Evie has to stop that. This is the first book in the series. Finally, we get on to my 5-star books. I can pick them all up. And the first one is Stolen Away by Alexandra Harvey. Now, if you know me, you know my favourite series of all time is Wicked Lovely, which is about fairies and how crazy they are. This book is about fairies and how crazy they are. So therefore, it got 5 stars. And I read this over the summer. It's my summer read. And I did read it really quickly. I got through it. Eloise. Yeah, that's the name of our character. And her friends and her mum and aunt all get involved in this fairy world, and it basically is about the fairies having an evil king and them needing to basically make their world more good. Like they need a new ruler, they need to solve this problem, but they can't until, of course, our main character gets involved with it all, and she helps like start a revelation. I'm gonna go with. So yeah, still in a way, love crazy fairies. Next two books I'm going to put together, seeing as they're basically the same kind of thing, even though one is so much better than the other, and if you could rate higher than 5 stars it would get it. Perfect Chemistry and Rules of Attraction by Simone Alcalez. Yes, Perfect Chemistry is the best one, but I loved Rules of Attraction nearly as much, but this book made me cry. A contemporary book is nearly my book of the year. This is the second best book that I read all year. I love it. Love it. I love the fact that you got to read from both, in both books, you got to read from both of our main characters' point of view about each other and about the same situations, which was good. And I'm not usually one for contemporary reads. Like I kind of fob them off and just want to read fantasy all the time. But these two really these made me think maybe I need to start buying more contemporary books, which is why I bought Amy and Roger. Yeah, so I much prefer Alex and Brittany to, is it Carlos in this one? Yeah, Carlos and Kira. Definitely Alex and Brittany all the way. This is like the best couple ever. And it's basically about love stories that happen throughout school time, and how both sides of the couple are from completely different worlds. They're like, one's really popular, one's in a gang in this one. And I think Carlos is like kind of the popular one in this one, and Kira's like a geek girl. But yeah, it just worked really well. Love them. If you want to read something contemporary, go with those two. I haven't got the third one, so I don't know what to think of that. 5 stars again, I've already mentioned it. Nightshade by Andrea Cremer. Loved this. This first book made me think, oh, maybe I need to give werewolves a bit more time of day. Which again, it's about Calla. She's a strong alpha female, and she's supposed to be marrying an alpha male called Ren, until she meets Shay, who shakes up their world completely. And he's just a human. She's not supposed to even think about him or be even bothered about him. And of course she can't keep away. And I love this book. This is amazing. Probably we'll go third best read here. And finally, the last book, I've saved the best till last. The book of the year. I've told everyone who I know likes reading to read this book. And more so. I've gone on about how amazing this book is. And I can't wait to buy the second two, because it's part of a trilogy. And it's Ashes by Ilsa J. Vick. The cover of this is really shiny, so it's hard to see like on my camera. This is amazing. Like I never thought I was going to find a series that I love as much as Wicked Lovely, and this is up there. This is about the world basically ending. Like a huge electromagnetic shock goes off, and it changes the world forever. Basically, there's no electricity, and it makes young people change into like zombies, like crazy 28 Days Later zombies. I'm gonna go with not slow, horrible, boring zombies. And they're getting intelligent, and some people have been given like superpowers. Like, for example, our main character, Alex, she is a young person, but she gets the powers instead of being a changed, which is what they call them in the book. And she has a super sense of smell. She can smell your emotions and all sorts. Like, it's not just that she can smell everywhere. And she was actually dying from cancer before the shock, and it's cured her cancer and given her supernatural powers. She couldn't even smell until this electromagnetic went off. And she meets Tom, and she meets Ellie, and they're basically trying to find somewhere safe, and they end up sadly are losing each other and stuff goes down. Read this book. Like, if you don't read anything else this year, just read this. And then the next two, which I am going to buy soon, because it ends on such a cliffhanger, that, spoiler alert, cliffhanger. So, yeah, that's the books that I read all year. I also have a haul that I'm going to do at some point, not exactly sure when. Sorry for being away for so long, and I hope you agreed with my reads. Thank you, and see you later.